Hello everyone. So in this part of the video, I'll walk you guys through on how to add shadows in Bootstrap. So as you can see here, box shadows or just shadows is one of the utility classes in Bootstrap whereby you are able to add to your components and divs. So in order to add this particular shadow effect to our container and components, we can actually see on how Bootstrap can be used. And as you can see right here, you can just add shadow just by saying shadow. And of course we have multiple ways to call a shadow. In this case, let's say you don't want a shadow, you can just say shadow dash none. And if you wanted to have like a very small the smallest shadow you can ever find here is shadow dash sm. And for a medium sized shadow you can just say shadow like this. And of course if you like to have a bigger sized shadow, you can just say shadow dash lg. And that's how simple it is. So now let's see how we are able to make use of this particular Bootstrap styling properties into our div in actual code. Alright, in our code right here, all you have to do is we need to be having a simple div. So in this case, I like to call a simple div. And inside this div, I'm just going to be naming something. And of course, inside this particular div right here, I would like to call a simple class name. And this class should be able to, before even adding shadow, I would like to create like a shape for it. So in this case, by default, it's going to be a rectangular shape. So I like to add like a border first to show where is this particular edge is located. So just by saying border, you'll be able to find some border has been created. And I like to add some margin so that you can actually see the shadows on all four sides. And when you don't add margin, you don't find the shadow that actually applied on our sides right here. So in this case, I like to say m equals to 5, m-5. And just like this, you are able to find this particular div right here will be having some spacing around here, which is around m equals to 5. And of course, I like to give some spacing within this particular div as well. So then I like to add p-5. And just by saying that, you are able to find that some space has been given within this particular div. And the next thing is to have actually to add shadow. So in this case, I like to start by saying shadow. Just by saying shadow, you are able to find this particular div will be having like a medium-sized shadow like this. And of course, let's say if you like to add like a different shadow, for in this case, I like to add shadow dash sm. Like this, sm is meant for small, and you can see the difference right here. As you can see here, there is some shadow, but it's very little, and here there is some shadow, but it's much more than this particular sm right here. And of course, let's go to the next one. And of course, let's actually add another div right below right here. So in this case, I like to add another div just by duplicating the previous one. And instead of SM right here, I like to say LG instead. So LG refers to big. And of course, that's the largest shadow you can actually form among this. And there you go. You'll be able to find, as you can see, the value of shadow given right here is much more bigger and larger than the two right here. And that's how you're able to add shadow to your container or your div. And of course, there's one more thing that's left. It's basically shadow dash none. So shadow dash none is basically does not happen to exhibit any styling properties for shadow. So as you can see right here, this particular subscribe button right here does not happen to have any shadow because we just put dash none. And this basically is basically the same like when you don't actually even apply anything. And this is just like a condition where you are able to make use of this only when you don't want to have any shadow. And yeah, these are the basic ways how you're able to add shadow to your container and divs. So that's the end of this particular part of the video. Let's catch up on the next one.